Hello, hello, hello. Hey, hope everybody's staying safe during this during the lockdown. Everybody comply, do what they supposed to do. Keep away from the mask and the gloves unless you're sick, because you just help spread the infections even more. I saw a lot of people today with masks on, and they would touch the mask to adjust the mask, and then they would touch their face afterwards. And I'm just like, you just don't understand. Then you take the mask off, right? So let's say you go to discard the mask and you don't wash your hands. Now you're touching your face. You just touched everything that was on the mask. Same thing with the gloves. I see people with the gloves on, you touching everything because you think, well, I got gloves on, so I'm safe. But at the same time, you pick your cell phone up, put it in your hand, put it to your ear, same thing. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's better just to do natural stuff to keep yourself clean, like washing your hands, keeping your hands out your face, that type of stuff, than have a mask on or gloves and you're not really sick already. Um, we do a lot of talking. I do a lot of talking about body and wallet, right? About owning your own and stuff like that. But what I miss is the mind. And the mind is very important because the mind is really what you have to work first. Because we have my coaches like to call them BS, right? belief belief systems is what it's called, but it's BS because what you believe is BS depending on how you learned it, right? So, for instance, you learn to go to school, get good grades, go to college, get a job, work the job, get an unemployment check, retire, yada yada yada. That's what you learn. So that's your belief system. So that's what's embedded in it. That's what was embedded in a lot of our heads. Even coming up, like I didn't really have like parents with steady 9 to 5 everyday jobs that they worked for years and retired. My mom, she got sick. She couldn't work at a certain point. Um, and I really wasn't close to my dad like that. So I didn't get to see him get up and go to work every day. So I didn't have that type of work. I grew up in a hustle environment. My grandmama had foster children. So she got income from the foster children. My mom was a really good hustler. She could get things that she wanted. My stepfather, he was a booster. So I had a really big hustler mentality. My belief system came from watching the Cosby Show. Going doctor and Mrs. Huxtable, she was a lawyer, he was a doctor, and their kids went to college. So that's the kind of belief system that kids like me had coming up because that's what we learned, or either the streets. That was our belief system, right? Um, but your belief systems can be limited because if you learn from people that's never been experienced or exposed to things, right, then their belief system is limited. For instance, if you have a parent or you grew up with somebody and they never traveled or saw the not even the world but the United States, right? Their beliefs about each state is going to be limited to what they've seen or heard. So therefore, when they try to teach you about it, you're getting your information from a limited source. So now your belief system becomes limited, right? For a long time, I thought Texas was a racist state, right? And it wasn't until I came out here for business that I realized this is one of the best places in the country. I live Nevada, live in Maryland, but Texas is the place I love to go to the most, right? Texas is like my new place, right? Um, but it was because of that belief system that it kept me from being somewhere that I could have been a long time ago, or from experiencing things that I should have experienced a long time ago, right? So that's why it's important to work on your mind because you have to become aware of where your thoughts come from, right? Where your thoughts and actions come from, what drives them, what motivates you to do certain things, what is your belief system, right? So I believe a lot of us, we're still stuck on a slave mentality. Our mind is still hardwired as slavery, right? Because that's basically what you do when you work. And that's what, it really bothers me. Like I was on Facebook today and I was really upset when I started hearing the things that people say, like just about how colleges should be free, how minimum wage should be more, and people need a decent wage to work. Well, you do realize when you go and apply for a job, you're making an agreement with that business that this is what you're worth. This is what your time is worth for the job that you're doing. You're coming to that agreement. You're saying this is my value right now. So if you go to a job and they only pay you $10 an hour, you're saying you're only worth $10 an hour. That's what your services are worth, $10 an hour, right? So it really gets me when I hear people complaining about minimum wage should be more. No, it shouldn't. Because a lot of jobs that actually pay minimum wage, grown adults with families should not be working those jobs. And that's just my opinion, but if you lay it down like that, it makes sense, because as a family, you need a minimum in America. Minimum. You need to be making $3,000 a month. If your household's not bringing in $3,000 a month minimum, that's $750 a week. If you're not bringing home $750 a week, it's hard to survive with a family. Now, if you're single, you can survive off $2,000 a month, even less, really, if you want to be comfortable, depending on what you do. But for a family of at least a guy, a girl, a kid or two, you need minimum $3,000 a month, because the average place you live for a 3-bedroom, let's say a 2-bedroom, right? $900 a month. So if you bring in $900 a month, pay $900 a month for somewhere to stay, now let's say you got a car payment, not even a car payment, insurance, that's another $300. Then you got utilities, let's say another $200. That's $1,500 right there. So now if you're making $2,000 a month, you're not talking about groceries. I'm talking about people with a family. If you make $2,000 a month, now you got to split $500 in the 4 weeks. That's $125 that you get to eat. And that don't even mean that you get to have nothing extra, because you're limited as an employee to just this amount of money every week, regardless. So to me, those types of jobs like McDonald's, it's no reason at all that a grown adult, the age of 40, I want to say over the age of 30 for real. Because I guess you could be paying your way through college or something and you working at McDonald's extra, something like that. So I want to say really over 30. You shouldn't be working in a fast food establishment unless you're working to like pay off your car note or pay off your mortgage early, something like that. Then that's when you go pick up. Like I was going to go get a job at the grocery store. Just stocking, right? I was going to do it for 2 reasons. One, they closed the gyms up. So now my activity, like I have to try to do more activity at home. And I really like the gym was like where I could get into my zone and really work out. And now they closed the gyms. I got to do it from home. And I got up this morning, I was going to work out from home, and I just got frustrated over something. And it just kind of messed my whole workout up, right? So I was going to go work at the grocery store, but I was going to donate my money to the Booster Club for the school to help the kids, get more stuff that they need, whether it's jerseys, whether it's a camp, like, because I really want to put a camp together for the football kids, for football this summer. Get an athlete out here to kind of run these kids through a nice camp and get them worked out, right? So I was going to work a 9 to 5. But to have to do that to survive for a family, you can't blame an establishment, because nobody opens up a business not to profit. It just doesn't make any sense. And you can't tell anybody else what their profit should be if they're the ones that decided to open up the business. Like, nobody could tell me what my profit should be in my business. Like, they can't say, oh, you shouldn't charge that much for your product, or you should charge this amount for your product. Or they can say it, but it don't work like that, because I'm the one that's got to go out here and do everything necessary to get it and put it together and make sure it's right, and cost and labor and thought. You can't pay that's my time, right? My time is valued at this. So when I sell my product, the profits I get is based off my value for putting the time and effort in. So you got to stop getting mad at these. You got to get rid of this slave mentality of letting somebody else take care of you. And that's basically what you do when you work a 9 to 5. And I at one point I was relating it to sharecropping, but it's not even sharecropping, because sharecroppers, like, if you go to my YouTube, look at a lot of these other videos, a lot of these guys were like sharecroppers in a way, but they were able to earn their own money on the side, aside from what they're doing. So if, let's say you was working at McDonald's, and for instance, and they said, look, all these burgers we don't sell at the end of the night, you can keep, and you can go do whatever you want with them, right? Cool. Now you could go, it's 10 burgers left over that they just gonna toss in the trash. You take them 10 burgers, go sell them for $1 a piece. You just made an extra $10 5 days a week. That's $50. That's an extra $200 a month, right? Then that's an extra, right? Because now it evens out. But you have no way, at least for a year, because most jobs only evaluate you every year and give you raises. I know when I worked at UPS, we had to wait every year for a raise. And your raise would be like 25, and some people be so happy over 35 cents. 30 a quarter. Like, we would really be trying to, I need that quarter, I need that 25 cents. I think it was like 25 cents, maybe 50 cents. But let's say 50 cent raise. You talking about 8 hours a day, that's $4 a day extra that they give you. And you be, I just got 50 cent raise. I need $5. That's an extra 40. That's an extra $200 a week. So now you was taking home 5. Now you taking home 7. But you're not getting that, right? You're getting 50 cents. So you're getting an extra $4 a day, 5 days a week. That's an extra $80 a month. Really? $80? And you've been waiting all year for that? It's a part of that mental. You feel like, because of what we've been taught, the belief system has been passed down to us, that we have to go to a job, that we have to get a salary. Now, I'm not saying you don't have to go work for somebody, but you could contract yourself out, and that's not the same as employment, because what you're saying is, this is my value to the company. Don't give me no benefits. I don't want your benefits, because that benefits, they count as salary, but that's this extra fluff because you still pay. So me, I was still paying for medical care at my job, even though they offered insurance. It might not have been as much, but $20 more, I could have had the same insurance myself if I was buying it myself, right? So everything, the security, the only thing that a job really gives you at the moment is security. But anything can happen. You can have a pandemic where businesses have to shut down and now you're unemployed. Right? It's no such thing as security. You have to get out of here. The security is here. Because when you know no matter what, I'm going to go out here and make it happen, you're going to be secure. Right? This is what security, that's what I'm saying. You have to get rid of those mental chains that's binding you up, right? You got to get and release those and start creating new belief systems. You have to believe that you can go out here and run your own business. And it's so simple. Think about it. And I keep saying this over and over and over again. If you make $10 an hour, 8 hours a day, that's $80 a day. So it's two ways that you can break it down. You could say, I need to make $80 a day. That could seem kind of stressful. But what if you break it down and say, I need to make $5 every 30 minutes? What can I do to make $5 every 30 minutes? And I could think of I can think of tons of things you can do to make $5 every 30 minutes. I don't care if it's pumping people's gas at the car. I mean, at the pump, washing window. You could go up to hey, let me wipe your car down. $5. I'll wipe everything down for you and vacuum it out for $5. Right? You do two of them. You could technically, and that only take you like 15 minutes. So technically, you could do 4 of them an hour, and now you go to $20 an hour. 8 hours a day. That's $160 a day, right? That's $800 a week. You've doubled what you was making at a regular job, being tied to a desk, can't take a break unless you ask permission. You ask, and those of you who say I don't gotta go ask my boss for permission. If you talk on a headset or something like that, and I know this person, this is why I'm using this as an example, and you gotta go punch a clock, or you gotta hit a button and say you in auxiliary in a mode that you're out to lunch or you're on break, you asking for permission. Now I work for a cleaning company, and I was an employee, but I was more like a sharecropper because I got commission. I had a company car. I didn't have to ask to go to the bathroom. I didn't have to ask to leave. I could kind of do what I wanted to do, even though I had somebody on my back. I could. I kind of was. It was a little lenient, but still, it was still a job because I had to be there every morning at a certain time, and I had to leave every day at a certain. I couldn't leave before a certain time every day, right? That's slavery. And it wasn't until I met my mentor, and he helped me break the bonds of change slavery. That's all I'm doing right now. I'm passing on what somebody passed to me. They showed me how, but I had already knew employment was slavery. I just didn't know a different way. So what I'm doing is telling you, those who don't know, to start help changing your belief system. And for those that you do know already, I'm showing you how you can do it. Like, I'm about to take this class. Started taking the class, but I'm gonna finish the class up. A digital marketing class, because I want to get more familiar with working online and selling online, because everything's shut down right now, but people are still home spending. You can see that, right? I'm still shopping on Amazon. I needed a new tripod. Ordered me a new tripod. Some poles. Ordered me some new poles. But yeah, so I'm trying to. I know a little bit about it, but I want the inside. I want to get in-depth training, right? So you could go spend money in college, $40,000, go to college and never learn anything but regurgitated information that you could have learned on Google yourself, right? So what I do is I go take independent classes. This class that I'm taking in digital marketing is $199, but I get the class for life, so I can go review it all the time. The person that's teaching the class is an actual marketing instructor, and they have a business, so their credentials speak for themselves, because they're in business, right? So I get the information that way, put it out there, make it happen, and keep moving. And that's all you got to do. I'm telling you, if you want to change, if you want to be different, change your mental first. Get rid of those belief systems, that BS. You got to cut that BS out. Get rid of that BS, because it's doing more damage than it is good. I could go on like this forever talking about this, but I want to let that sink in for a minute. I'm going to go ahead and finish my class up, see if I can start making some money online, some real money, more than what I'm making now online. And I'm going to let y'all know. But I'm going to keep y'all up on it. But yeah, go Google a class. Go Google whatever you want to learn about. Go Google it. Find you a class. Somebody creditable. And take the class. let me know. Leave a link. I'll leave a couple links down later. I'm not gonna do it tonight. I'm gonna post a video, but I'm gonna come back and write links and descriptions and put them in there later. So look out for that. Y'all be easy.